Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your horoscope for July 2019. What's left of July anyway, the last 3 weeks. I'm a little bit late this month, so please forgive me. On the 2nd of July, we had a total solar eclipse, which was a new moon in Cancer. And the important thing for you guys to know is what house this happened in. So we've got another eclipse coming up on the 16th of July. This new moon in Cancer was in your 7th house of relationships. So a new moon is when the moon is totally black. It blackened out the sun. You could see it in South America and in the Pacific. And it pulls energy in, and it pulls Cancer energy in, which is mothering, nurturing, loving, self-caring energy. In your 7th house of relationship, it's about, what's my relationship with myself like? Am I taking care of myself? Do I love myself? Who do I love in my life? Who do I nurture? Who do I take care of? Now, usually a new moon, the energy lasts for a couple of days, but because this is an eclipse, it's interrupted and it lasts for 6 months. And it's on the north node, so it pulls energy in. So you're going to really be very, very healthy, Capricorn, about your relationships and whether they're balanced or not. Do I just take care of this other person and get Zippo back? Or am I being taken care of completely and I give nothing? Or is it even, Steven? Do we both nurture each other and take care of each other? So you'll have a great eye for that and a great insight. The best relationships are obviously the ones that are equal, where you both give and you both make a contribution. Mars, the masculine planet, which you kind of are friends with because it's about ambition, getting to the top of the mountain. That's in Leo, next to Mercury, the communication planet, at 3 degrees in Leo, in your 8th house. So while you're focusing on yourself and the relationships that you've got, you're also going to be interested in really making progress in the job that you have if you're employed, and taking the next step up and working hard and saying, I want this promotion, I want to make more money. On the 4th of July, Venus, the planet of love and beauty and Aphrodite, she also joins the Sun and the North Node in Cancer in your 7th house. So now romance really is in the air, and you're like, do I love myself truly, utterly, and honestly? And it sounds so lame, you know, when it's like you look in the mirror, you do mirror work, and you say, I love you. I love you so much. Thank you for taking such good care of me. I love you. It sounds ridiculous. It feels ridiculous when you first do it, but it really works. If you tell yourself you love yourself in the mirror over and over and over again, eventually you believe it, and it's an inside job. You build your self-confidence, and one day you'll have a breakthrough where you genuinely love yourself. And I can't emphasize how important this is, because if you hate yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, because if you hate yourself, you're going to create a life that hates you back. If you love yourself, you're going to create a life that loves you. And that's not easily done. I have been meditating for years, 9 years, okay? And last month, I had a breakthrough where this hole in the soul, this sense of being unloved, was finally destroyed, and I felt loved for the first time in my life. Intellectually, I've always known my parents loved me, that people in my life have cared about me, have loved me. But I've never felt it. I could never feel it. And now that I feel it, I can feel my life changing. It's amazing. So you have this opportunity to really love yourself, and that is the building material of the universe. So out of all of the signs, you're the luckiest, Capricorn, because you really get you, or you get to really love yourself despite the stupid things that you've done, despite your fibromyalgia, despite your addiction issues, despite your mental health problems, despite all the moles that you have on your skin, despite your fugly beard that doesn't grow in properly. You know, despite all of these things, you can love yourself regardless. On the 7th of July, Mercury, the communication planet, goes retrograde until the 31st of July. So you're really ambitious in your work. Be careful, because when Mercury goes retrograde, there's room for error in communication and transportation. So if you're in logistics and you're responsible for everything going smoothly, make sure that if you're working with structure and administration especially, make sure you dot the I's, you cross the T's, you make sure everything goes right, because there will be simple little mistakes. And as far as bosses go, 1 or 2 mistakes, yeah. But when we're getting to 3, 4, 5 mistakes, then it's a little bit iffy, and it's like, so pay attention to your work. Mercury retrograde will affect you, and it's just an annoyance. It's a nuisance. It happens 3 or 4 times a year. Unfortunately, you're going to be affected by it in your working life. So just make sure that you minimize the effects and not just like half-assedly sign things without reading them, because then you will make mistakes. Okay. On the 16th of July, we have the other eclipse, and I'll make a separate video on that. But the important thing is that it happens in your first house of self. You. This is about you, Capricorn, and it's a partial lunar eclipse. It's a full moon in Capricorn, and when the moon is full, it goes, oh, and it relaxes, and it showers us with its energy. So you're going to be feeling this Capricorn energy. It's like, oh, I love it. I just love it. You're going to feel super good around the 16th, okay? And not only that, it's an eclipse, so it lasts for the next 6 months, and it's on the south node. It's about letting go. So Saturn is there, the moon is there, Pluto is there. Saturn is the father figure. It's the structure, the foundation of your life. Pluto is about transformation and change. The moon is how you feel and what you are internally. And it opposes all of this stuff in your 7th house of relationships, and you're going to ask yourself, why do I work so hard at making other people happy and taking care of everyone but myself? And why do I work so hard to make my own life a living hell by telling myself that I'm not worthy, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not pretty enough, that I'm not viable? We all have 20,000 hours of tape in our heads from other people who have told us that we can't and that we're not good enough. If you're on social media and you get 20 positive comments and you get 1 hate comment, you'll look at the hate comment and reply to that. It's human nature. It's just the way it works. The ego wants us to pick up on the negativity. So the blessing that you've got is that you've got a toilet. This month, an emotional toilet in which you can take all of those hours of tape, you can throw them in the garbage disposal, that's a better metaphor, and you can flush them. And remember, it's a 6-month event because it's an eclipse. So first of all, you get to understand how you feel about yourself, and you get to discover that. Then you get to say, I like it or I don't like it. If you don't like it, you get to bin it and get rid of it. And if you do like it, you can build on it and you can make it more of a reality in your life. So you have a month here that is completely life-changing. I know it's not your birthday, but it ought to be. Happy birthday, Capricorn, because you're being given this emotional gift, and you can see yourself as you really are, as a wonderful, amazing spiritual being having a human experience, and you can dump all of the crappy negative bullshit that you tell yourself, and you can replace it with positive dialogue. I am capable and competent. I'm beautiful. I'm lovable. I'm kind. I'm giving. I'm generous. On the 19th of July, Mercury retrogrades back into Cancer, and it joins the Sun, Venus, the North Node, and the transiting midheaven in Cancer. So you're not only going to understand how you feel about yourself, you're also going to understand how you feel about your work, the people you work with, whether you're achieving your ultimate mission, whether you're being fairly treated, and you're able to make up for any mistakes that you may have made during this Mercury retrograde, just little errors. You'll emotionally be able to navigate those things and hone in on any mistakes you may have made and amend them and correct them. So that's just the one thing I want to warn you about here in July, that you pay attention to your work as well as how much you love yourself, because that's the ego at work. You know, you're busy telling yourself, I love myself, and then you make a mistake. Let's say you're a weatherman, a newscaster, and you point at the wrong state and you say it's going to be raining there and it isn't. Then immediately you're going to get back on your case and say, oh, I'm so stupid, I hate myself, I can't even point at the right state. So that's why we've got this dichotomy going on. The ego doesn't want you to love yourself, because then you don't achieve your soul mission, then you don't have a great life. And the ego wants you to have a shitty, sucky life. And you don't need to. You can have an amazing life. So that all continues. On the 28th of July, we have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and creativity, going into Leo in your 8th house. So now we've got the Sun, Mars, and Venus in your 8th house of institutions. You're going to be really, really ambitious now to get this train going when it comes to your work, and to make the most of your work, and to get promoted, to get to a position of power, to do really well, to make your job something that supports you and that you feel is worthy of your attention. So whether you work in a job that you adore, or you make a lateral move, or you make yourself self-employed, you really have an understanding of who you are, what your worth is, and that is going to be reflected in your work. You know, I'm not going to think of myself as a genius, as the greatest mind who ever lived, and then go work as a janitor. No, I'm going to apply for jobs at a university. So there you go. You get a clear insight into who you are, and don't doubt that it's real. Have a wonderful month. If you would like any help with life purpose or vocational aptitudes, if you have any questions about relationships or love life or finances or travel or where the best place is to live, then please get in touch with me for a personal reading. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to audio reading. Have a lovely July, and I'll speak to you next month. Mwah. Kisses.